going on, guys? It's Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great Wednesday. I'm actually able to fit a little bit of time in to get a video in. I thought I was going to have to post one late, but I've gotten a little bit of time to get one in. So we're going to keep talking about what we've talked about the last, what seems like 2 weeks, but really hasn't been quite that long. We're going to talk about the Arctic blast, the Arctic boundary, where that front's setting up. Where is it going to throw winter weather at? We're going to talk about the potential ice threat still early next week here in the Carolinas and Georgia. We're still going to talk about that, but we're really going to start off by talking about the potential for a major winter storm, really in parts of the western Mid-South, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, the ongoing ice event that is going to continue to amp up here. So we're going to talk about and break all that down here in this video. There's a lot to talk about, so hang tight with me. We're going to talk about the ice threat towards the end of the video. So, but everything links together. Okay, we have a very crazy pattern right now, and one tick here, one tick there could change everything for next week here, even here in the Carolinas. I've been looking at models and looking at them, and I've learned a lot already, but this is going to be a huge learning experience for a lot of weather enthusiasts, even meteorologists out there figuring out what's going to happen with this. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to stay alert when I post. Like the video if y'all like it. It's much appreciated. It's just a great way to support me, and I already appreciate y'all's support. So if you got anything that I can pray about or anybody else can pray about, I like to use my platform for a way to reach out to you guys and to glorify God. So definitely drop a prayer. It gives, if it's unspoken, put that. It gives an opportunity for people to reach out to you. So let's get going with this. So there's a lot to talk about. If y'all hear my kids in the background, like I say in every video, I have 2 little girls, so they're just in the background playing. So I'm sorry about that. But let's get going into this. So this is watches and warnings right now. Obviously, it's all winter type watches and warnings. Look at this huge swath. This deep purple is ice storm warnings. More of the muted looking purple. This is winter weather advisories. Obviously, you have some tons of cold air up top of here, so you have wind chill advisories and things like that. Then in the pink, you have winter storm warnings. And this right here, this is an area. This is a winter storm watch in southern areas of Virginia. We're going to watch this even for areas in northern areas of North Carolina a little later this week, too, for some freezing rain threat with a couple waves of precipitation that's going to move through, and a CAD that's going to be intensifying here in the Carolinas, mainly North Carolina with this. So we're going to watch this, too, but that's winter storm watches for a couple waves of winter precipitation later. So we're going to look at the NAM. It's 12 km. I want to look at this, too, because it just shows more of what's going on here. Here comes the ice storm. Cincinnati, you guys were in a terrible drought as far as winter weather, and y'all have been getting slammed now and will continue to get slammed. And I'm watching areas like Memphis right now. Dallas, you're going to be going ongoing freezing drizzle. Whatever y'all got going out there, I would love to have more Dallas people definitely follow along, because I'm going to be so interested in knowing what kind of weather y'all get out there. I always relate Dallas's weather to Columbia's weather, even though I consider Dallas a little bit more favorable for winter weather. So it's always crazy seeing what's going to happen. It's also very frustrating for us people in the Carolinas, especially South Carolina, being in the southeast ridge in the storm. We're going to break all that down in this video too and talk about that. But here it goes. Basically, you had this Arctic boundary. It's an Arctic front. It can't be any simpler than that, and it's draped across right here. And you have moisture. Plenty of Gulf moisture, plenty of moisture just keeps riding this boundary. And when one wave goes through, like this one, this is a major, pretty significant ice storm going on in Memphis and western areas of Tennessee into southern areas of Kentucky. As we get into tomorrow, this is just another wave. This turns into a possible snow event for areas in Virginia. Washington, D.C., y'all might just be just north. I follow a lot of people complaining about in that area that y'all might get whiffed on from the north of this first event to the south of the second. But look, as this is going through, I don't expect this to be really anything for the Carolinas. The CAD's going to begin cold air damming. When I say CAD, guys, that's cold air damming. It's going to begin to intensify Thursday night into Friday, and as it's moving out, some freezing drizzle and rain is definitely possible in North Carolina. But Look at this other wave about to work through, and Memphis about to get hit again with a wave of wintry weather. That might be brief, but the cold air damming is more reinforced here in the Carolinas. So when I say Carolinas, I'm really mainly talking about North Carolina and Virginia. So you have some freezing rain breaking out late Saturday night into late Friday night into Saturday morning. So I don't think this is going to be a major ice event from North Carolina, but I think it's going to cause some slick areas for sure. And it's definitely something we need to watch to see if this trend's colder, because you have a cold area up top. You have snowpack. Guys, when you have snowpack and you have cold air damming, it intensifies it. And a lot of times models trend colder at the last second, and the wedge holds in longer than what it's forecast. But this turns into a decent winter weather event for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. That moves through, and then another one gets cranking up at the end of the nav that we're going to show. And here it comes. Something big is brewing for the South Central area, Texas, Oklahoma. So obviously, we're going to look at the chances. This is the National Weather Service, so this is the real deal. And this area in blue is above 50 to 60% chance of a quarter-inch of ice. Always consider a quarter-inch of ice is above ice storm criteria. That's why there's ice storm warnings all through here. This is a higher than not chance of significant icing. And check out this area right here in Virginia. This is through 72 hours, so this runs through all the way through Sunday. This is picking up basically on that area for later this weekend. So you look at the chances of a half an inch of ice, which, guys, can bring down small trees and things and really coat the roadways. It's a jackpot area. If we're looking at big cities over in Memphis, you guys could really have a high chance, a 50% chance of seeing a half inch of ice. That's a big deal. That's a pretty significant ice storm. Check out the widespread icing around Dallas too. Y'all are going to have on and off freezing rain, freezing drizzle. It's going to accumulate because you have basically a reinforcing Arctic air mass. It's going to get colder and colder. Just stay tuned if you're in Dallas. I'm going to break some things down for you guys because this is insane for you guys. But you get a little bit closer here and check it out. Kentucky, Tennessee. This is very close to Nashville. One little tick, one little wiggle, and Nashville's in a significant icing event. But check out Memphis. This is just the National Weather Service up to 72 hours out. It's starting to pick up on another storm down here in Mississippi. But this is just overrunning. Basically, when you have Arctic air, you have you basically have shallow cold air. Arctic air is shallow cold air, meaning this is why around the boundary, the Arctic air mass, this is why you're getting freezing rain, because you have very cold air at the surface, but it's shallow, meaning it's a small area. So up top, it's still kind of warm, right? You're right around the boundary, but down at the bottom, it's well below freezing. So basically that warm air up top is what you call warm nose. So snowflakes fall down, they fall into that warm area, they melt into liquid, but then they're able to refreeze again at the surface because temps at the surface is below 32 degrees. So that's why this is freezing rain and maybe some sleet up top and snow here rather than snow. So I want to show you this. We're going to just look at the GFS ensembles as far as temperatures here. Check out down here. This cold air is surging south. It's not moving like this. I mean, it is. It's also modifying right here too, but check out it just surging south. And you look at areas like Dallas, like these are high temperatures for Thursday. You can tell where the Arctic boundary is. It's getting close to Nashville. It's over it's over areas like Memphis. These are highs for tomorrow. You get into the next time frame, the Arctic air reinforces itself. It gets even colder. But check out as we get into the weekend. This sets the stage for a major winter storm. I mean, you basically get a rock solid ground out here for a brewing winter storm. It's getting closer. You can start to see that cold air damming setting up in North Carolina. It's going to be a raw, cold weekend for the Carolinas, even in the South Carolina. Georgia, it's going to be cold, especially in northeast areas of the state. But look at this. This is around Dallas, highs in the 20s. So we get even deeper into the weekend as we get into Sunday. It is just the Arctic air. It just keeps coming. It keeps filtering in. And this is highs. You still got 20s. You're still staying below freezing the entire state of Arkansas. This is Sunday. Northern Louisiana, you're below freezing. But the thing is it's not moving much. It's inching closer. But man, this southeast ridge is flexing so hard. Basically, this cold air is dumping so hard out west and so south that I think I mentioned this in another video, and I liked what Brad Panovich, meteorologist out of Charlotte, said too. Basically, it's like a waterbed. You jump in the middle of the waterbed, it causes areas of the other on the sides of the waterbed to rise up. So basically, this is the same. This is Mother Nature pressing down on the central area of the country, so it causes us on the side here to ridge up. So that's us in the southeast. It's causing us to ridge. You press down, it causes everything else to rise up. So that is an element of why we're getting such a stout, not warm nose, but a southeast ridge here. And plus, it's just classic La Nina. This is climate. This is normally what happens. But this is a major dump of cold air. And then, after that, it really doesn't matter. It gets kind of far out. But so we're going to really start looking at the GFS here. Check out these waves of precipitation. Starts riding the boundary, wave after wave after wave. And then here comes the big dog. And this one's going to really start to get talked about for Oklahoma and Texas. This is showing freezing rain all the way down to Houston, Texas. Heck, it shows freezing rain in the Gulf of Mexico. Not going to happen. But this is insane. It's just because this Arctic air mass is just digging so far out here. But this is a major winter storm. Dallas missed on the one earlier in January, but this ain't missing, y'all. Meteorologists are starting to bite on this. Ensembles are all biting on this. This is getting relatively close. We're getting inside 110, 100 hours here. But this thing moves. And after you get through this, it all depends on what this low pressure does. How far does it cut? Yeah, you have cold air damming. You have enough cold air spilling over top here of the mountains here and spilling into the Carolinas. But if this low pressure is right here, then you have a major winter storm all the way into the panhandle of Florida, working into Georgia, into the Carolinas. Because down here, you get the low pressure down here, it tugs on the cold air to work all the way down here. But you need this push of cold air to move more southeast if we want this storm, which is ultimately what brings a major winter storm for Texas, to bring a major winter storm for the southeast. You need this piece of the polar vortex to shift east. It's that simple. I mean, obviously there's more things that go into it, more variables, but you need this to tick east, and it will cause it to move more southeast. This gets on through. It causes another winter storm over the same areas that just got an ice storm, but maybe a little bit more east. The Arctic boundary is able to get going, able to move a little bit more. So maybe this is a significant winter storm for Nashville, for example. You notice this CAD. This is what everybody keeps talking about ice for Tuesday. This is the interesting setup. You need, is this going to be stronger than what it shows on the models? It could be, and I really think it will be. Will it reach all the way into South Carolina? Don't know. It's going to be hard with a low pressure cutting over the Appalachian Mountains. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be very hard. You really need this thing to trend south. We thought we were having some trends to more of an icy scenario earlier today, but again, we've kind of took a step back. We're just going back and forth, and we will continue to do that, especially as the models are going to have to account for a lot of things like snowpack up north, things like that. That moves through, then we kind of get into La La Land here, and we get another storm that rides up, and it's just because we're in the southeast ridge, man. It is just not wanting to push through. Finally, when that moves through, the cold air gets here by then, it loses its intensity, and yeah, that's it. But we're going to look at the GFS. This is GFS operational run as far as snowfall. Significant winter storm. You got 8 to 12 inches. This is probably showing up as, I don't think this is all snow here. It's probably showing up some ice. But look, it shows snow, winter weather, all the way down here in the areas that got hit by a few hurricanes in hurricane season. It's crazy. Dallas, I think y'all are going to finally break y'all's snowless streak. I really do. But look at the operational Euro. Check this out. There's a little sneaky event right there, the ice event, and then another little wave comes through, ice, and obviously in western Tennessee. But look at this. You got to watch this out right here. This is going to be maybe a quick freezing rain event. I think we're going to get some winter weather advisories, maybe some winter storm warnings watches for areas of northern North Carolina. But this moves through, and then here comes the big dog dropping down here. And it's not that the crazy thing about this winter storm in Dallas and Oklahoma, especially areas in North Texas, is this could be snow falling in the teens and 20s, especially in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, it might be falling in the single digits. It's crazy. It does some wild things out in the Midwest, but this moves through, and this thing, it's going to be interesting what the Euro does overnight. This is what I'm talking about. This is the ice event, potential ice event for the Carolinas next Monday into Tuesday. You see the cold air damming, even though the low pressure is shooting up through and cutting. There's going to be a stout cold air damming depending on where that high pressure is up top. And there it is right there. It's in a favorable position, but is it retreating? Is it moving on out? Is it getting pushed out? Is it strong enough? The position looks great right here, but you go to the next frame and it's moving on out. It's retreating. It's getting on out of here. So therefore, the ice does not hang. A lot of people don't want an ice storm. There's a lot of people who will take anything at this point. But this turns out to be another significant winter storm for areas that just got hit by an ice storm. This could hit places like Shreveport, Arkansas, with a few. I don't know what y'all are going to get at this point, but this looks like a powerful winter storm. And then it picks up on that other storm there. But you go to this. This is the EPS ensembles, European ensembles. I know this doesn't look like an inch. You see 3, 4, 5 inches, but this is going to trend higher. I really do think it is, but I think it's just picking up on the general threat of winter weather in Oklahoma and Texas. But here it is, just a closer look on what's going on right here. You see the low pressure, it cuts. You need this low pressure down here, point blank. It drags more cold air. It allows more cold air to come in. It starts up here. You need the piece of the polar vortex. You need this to stop pressing so far out here. You're going to throw Texas. You're going to turn y'all into a glacier out here. But, you see the ice. You see the CAD signature. You see the high pressure right here. But it starts to move on out of here. It starts to move on out. It gets too far north. It weakens. And so this is just going to be very interesting. And one more model I want to show y'all. The one that, some people want to show it a little bit more respect than others. But it's an interesting model because it shows... Basically, look at all the moisture through 144 hours out. Now, you look at the UK Met as far as temperatures. This is for the event next week early. We're talking about the Carolinas here now. Look how cold it is. It's going to be hard to see these numbers on the screen, but this is in the 30s and 20s as moisture is moving through in the Carolinas. This is deep, even in Columbia, South Carolina. This is just one model to kind of look at. Now, look what it does. It signifies snow, but this is ice and sleet. So it tries to pump up a massive cold air damming event. So this is a very interesting scenario. It might go away from that. The Icon did something really cool earlier, but as far as winter weather. But this is kind of what I want to show y'all about the waterbed effect, if you will, that Brad Panovich mentioned. You see this trough digging. Major Arctic outbreak. It's just a bunch of colors. I know it looks like a lot of people, but see how it dips? When it dips, it causes the ridge to flex on both sides. So it's dipping so hard that it's causing us to get into a warm sector, if you will, of warm air. So it's causing troughs to go like this and right above us. You ain't going to get winter weather most of the time if you basically have a trough digging right here. So you look at this. This is the closer view of the ice right here. It's close, but it's just not there. So this is another great thing to show. Right here, you look at this. You can obviously tell where the southeast ridge is here. You got all this ice and snow showing up on the GFS, but I wanted to show you this because look how much snow and ice is being depicted off this model. But look at Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina and most of Alabama. It's nothing. It's all because of a southeast ridge. So I'm annoyed with it because I feel like this is a few ticks away to being an awesome pattern here in the Carolinas. We, on February 12th, in 2 days, that'll be our 7-year anniversary since we've seen 1 inch of snow here in Columbia, South Carolina. We are in we're about to actually break our streak for our longest snow drought. So we're trying to get something here as we get to the tail end of winter. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope y'all have a great night.